Good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are. Welcome to this video. And in this video, we are going to talk about forms, HTML forms, JavaScript forms, and the best way to write them. So I was recently reviewing someone's code. Check out the link in the description to see the full stream of that. But I noticed something quite odd. And this is something I've done in the past when I'm working with React, because it's so easy with JavaScript to get away with doing things that aren't really semantic. And let me show you what that is. So here, this is where the code is, and this is the app on the right-hand side. This code here is actually a form. And what happens when the user types something in and clicks the add button, data will display on the page, so I can add as many things as I want, and it will display down here. So the form is working as expected. But if we have a look at the code, there's input and a button, and the JavaScript code here is taking the click event from the button, getting the container, which is this div that you can't see over here, and populating the data from the input and putting that as a list item in that container. What this is doing here is when the add button is pressed, it gets rid of the text that was in the input. So nothing fancy. But the problem with this is, well, there are a few problems. Is if I type something into here and hit enter, nothing happens. And that's what you'd expect from a form. Secondly, and this is the biggest problem, this isn't really semantic. There are already elements and tags in place to make it easier to add a form. And so the way it's working right now is not the proper way. It's kind of a hacky way, and this can work with the power of JavaScript, but it's not the way it's supposed to be done. So I'm going to show you how to write the form properly. First things first, let's wrap these two lines, so line 10 and 11 in form tags. I'm going to give this an ID of list-form, and I'm going to close that down here. So this already has made it much more semantic, because if you have a form, it should be wrapped in a form tag. Next, in the JavaScript, we're going to replace the way this works. Instead of triggering a form action when a user clicks a button, we're going to trigger an action when the form is submitted. So to do that, I'm actually going to comment all this out. I'm going to grab the form. So I'm going to have a const called form, and this is going to get the list, so get the form by ID. I think we called it list form. And what we're going to do is add an event listener to this form when it's submitted. The event listener takes in two arguments, a string of the action and a function of what's going to happen when the action happens. First thing we're going to do is, because this is running in JavaScript and it's not going to the server to submit data, we're going to prevent the default action of the form, which is to refresh on submit. Secondly, we're going to get the data from the input and grab the text value that was placed in the input. Because this is a form, we have access to all the HTML elements or the DOM elements that are placed inside the form tags. What this is doing is getting the first element. So if we look here, this is the first element that's inside the form tag, and we're going to call it input. Then what we're going to do is grab the rest of this code over here, paste it over here, and uncomment this out. So this input is still valuable because we're using the value from here, and we're adding it to the container, which is over here. I think that's called list results container. So that's this unordered list over here. And once that's in place, it's going to remove the value that's inside the input. Let's save that and see if that works. I'm going to refresh this page, type something in, and hit enter. And just like that, the enter key works. I didn't have to do any hacky stuff to check if the enter key was being pressed to submit the form. This is automatic behavior of a semantic form element tag. So as you can see, this works as expected. It worked much better than what we had before, and it's actually much more readable. And that's it. I hope you found this video useful. If you did, please like and subscribe, and I'll try and do more of these as and when I can. Thanks for watching.